Hey everyone, this is Dr. Dolopo, and today I'm going to do a live video only because this video is going to be a little long and I don't want anything happening where my video ends up getting cut off because I have a program that I use, and sometimes when my video is more than 30 minutes, it doesn't record. So the material that I want to talk about today the topic is called Swanky or Skanky. And this is especially for my fertility patients, but you don't need to be a fertility patient to watch this, because the material that we're going to discuss is probably going to be of interest to you. We're going to talk about lingerie and does it matter? Does it matter to men? We're talking specifically about heterosexual relationships, primarily because I specialize in the most challenging fertility cases and very high-risk pregnancies. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I started studying Chinese medicine in 1994, and I've been licensed since 1999. So I'm grateful that this is my 25th year in practice. If you go to Elements in Harmony, acupuncture.com, you'll see you'll see my testimonials divided in 3 specific sections. You'll see internal health, fertility, pregnancy, and pregnancy and preparing for birth, as well as pain. So today we're definitely going to be talking about fertility, the lingerie part. And what prompted this conversation that I want to have with you, or this little video, is because someone asked me, she's a new patient, and she asked me, do I have a recommended place? I have an acupuncture protocol. I have a fertility protocol. It is critical that you follow the protocol. So if you're not pregnant yet in 6 to 12 months, if not sooner, and you're not following the protocol, I'm going to go back to each and every one of the specific things I'm requiring you to do. And one of the things is spending at least $25 to $150 on heels and lingerie. Now, I don't care if you're spending $5 or $10 at some cheap place. I don't care if you're getting it on sale. I don't care if someone gives it to you. That's not the point. The point is I want you getting new lingerie every month. And you may think, why is that important? Well, it does matter. I want to keep this as brief as possible, but something tells me that we might get into some interesting information. So let's go to what is the global lingerie market? Global lingerie market insights. If we pay attention to where are we spending our money as a society worldwide, you can see where our priorities are. And you'll see that on SkyQuest, I just did a Google search, global lingerie market size, share, growth analysis by products, bras, knickers, by distribution channels, supermarkets, multi-brand stores, industry forecast 2024 to 2031. Now, the lingerie market size was valued at the US dollar $85.96 billion in 2019, and is poised to grow from USD from the US dollar $88.32 billion with a B in 2023 to US dollars $141.81 billion by 2031. That's not even 10 years, you guys. Growing at a CAGR of 5.7% in the forecast period 2024 to 2031. So if you want to see that, go to skyquest.com/report/lingerie-market. I'll put these links in the channel later. But that is obviously something, if it just tells you, okay, we do prioritize lingerie in the marketplace. There's one other thing that I looked up in regards to global lingerie market. A different one, let's see, and the Google review. By the way, when you look up lingerie market worth in under 2.2 seconds, you'll find 16,900,000 results. The global lingerie market was valued at 40.4 billion in 2022 and is expected to reach 71.1 billion by 2031. So you're getting different, I'm giving different angles, different people's, different things that I found. This is from Ground View Research, iMark Group, Global Market Insights. So this is just showing about what we're spending. You know, you can get this specific details if you do your own search. You're not going to be able to, you don't need to go far. Just Google, what is the lingerie market value? Now, let's go to the fun stuff. There's a lot of information. I wanted to go directly to how men think about lingerie. So, Dr. Dolopo, why are you requiring us to wear lingerie? You want to get pregnant. And I had babies at 30, 36, and 43. I am 50 years old, and I have a second-year college student and a second-year kindergartner. That was not by design. It just happened that way. You'll see some of the videos that I've done in Elements in Harmony. Now, before we go deep into, you know, the possibility that lingerie does matter to men, so far, it must matter to women. If we are spending billions of dollars on lingerie, then it's probably women buying it at least 50% of the time. So why are we spending our money on that? Well, I have a very high success rate when it comes to fertility. And this is a topic in medicine that I just fell into. I always focus on pain. And then for, you know, something happened along the way, I'll leave you to watch my other videos that explain why somehow I fell into fertility. And when I really, and you'll see a lot of videos, I've done at least 100 videos on women's health. And quite a few of them, at least 75% of them, are related to fertility or something regarding sex. Here are some of the topics that I've discussed. If you go to the fertility section at elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com, you'll see I discuss intimacy and fertility, a bunch of other fertility stuff. You'll see that I start talking about sex. I talk about sperm. I talk about sperm motility. And if I just do a Google search on my name and look up Anna Dolopo sex, you'll see that I do discuss what turns women on, what turns men on, increase your libido and have amazing sex. Let's see, acupuncture increases sex drive. Let's see, Dr. Dolopo helps women undergoing IVF with balance method, acupuncture. Okay, a bunch of IVF stuff, but making time for intimacy and fertility and intimacy, aka Taoist bump and grind advice, natural conception at age 44, acupuncture and increased libido, another libido video, do it dirty baby. I did that 3 years ago. Libido part 2, how to have a healthy, happy, horny marriage, how to prevent blue balls from a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine perspective, what turns women on, libido for fertility, and some other things. Dry vagina, acupuncture can fix that, men and their emotions, and probably some other things. So, and I talk about sexual healing. Oh, no, that's someone else. I should probably do a video on that. So let's go into, you know, one of the videos that I didn't mention is the sense for men and how it matters. And that particular video is based on research. So I do my best to present some topics, you know, dryness of the, you know, atrophy of the clitoris, dryness of the vagina. Those topics do matter, because what I found in studying those topics, that there's not a lot of funding in that research, but you have a limp penis, all of a sudden there's how much money is spent on erectile dysfunction. So let's look up erectile dysfunction funding. The National Institutes of Health has provided $105 million in funding for ED-related projects. Good. Let's look up dry vagina funding. So that was 100 something. According to medicalexpress.com, vaginal dryness has faced challenges due to a lack of research funding and the stigma around discussing vaginal health. Huh. So no money on vaginal dryness. Yet, vaginal dryness, especially from a Chinese medical perspective, is so important to treat. So, just want to show you that over $100 million is spent on, wow, you got a limp penis. We got to study it. We got to make sure no limp penises. But you got a dry vagina. Don't worry about it. I even asked my husband about it, and he goes, well, you guys have lubrication. That's not the point. See, in Chinese medicine, you have dryness of anything. Now we're talking yin deficiency, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But just know, if you come to me and you say, Dr. Dolopo, I have dry vagina, I have a treatment for it, and we need to treat it. That is an important topic. We need to treat it. That cannot just be like your normal life. I'm 50. I don't have a dry vagina. And if I do, I would be treating it with acupuncture and herbs. The needles would not go in the vaginal area, you guys. When we treat erectile dysfunction, the needles don't go in the penile area, just to let you know. I just want to clarify that right now. Let's go to, I will talk about the lingerie. I just want to talk about some, little Doctor of Acupuncture foreplay, if you will, on why I want to discuss lingerie, why I want to talk about sexual health, because these are topics that we do need to discuss. So let's talk about funding for atrophy of the clitoris. Did you know that the clitoris can atrophy? You should. So funding for atrophy of the clitoris, none. There's no funding. Funding for women's sexual issues. None. Nothing. There's an Office on Violence Against Women grant programs, but there's no funding for women's sexual issues. No, there's no funding. So you're going to have to be stuck with me for now on discussing the importance of treating men and women for their health issues, especially women if you have some sexual issues. Now let's get to the topic at hand, which is lingerie. Why is lingerie so important? So if I did a video about the scents for men, then men are visual, and we're going to discuss that. So let's see. What turns women on? Please do watch that particular video. I'll give you a little synopsis of that video. Let's see, a 55-minute video. I will tell you, maybe 60-minute video, close to it. 45 minutes is women and chores. With men, it's the smell of popcorn, it's pizzas, it's all these fun things. And I've shared that with men, and they're like, oh, so it's like fun things make men hard. Fun things make men happy. With us women, it's chores, activities. All right, so do watch that video. So I really wanted to know. So my patient asked me, and this is my 25th year in practice, and no one's ever asked me, where should I buy lingerie? Now, if you want to have a baby, a lot of times people say, well, it was so easy the first time. Well, of course it was. It was easy the first time because you weren't thinking about what to do with your first baby or second baby. You were just having sloppy sex. Your hormones are all over the place. And that's if it was easy the first time. The second time, now you got to figure out how to take care of the kids. You got to be a little more tricky when it comes to having sex with your partner, with your husband. And, I'm an advocate of hotel sex. It's got to be sloppy. It's got to be happy. And you can't have children in the house if you're trying to have a baby, especially. It's a lot different, especially if you've been together for 5+ years. And now you're thinking about, well, it's around the 14th. I got to have sex. That's not romantic. That's not sexy. So there's one. If you go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com and you go scroll down to the fertility section, you look at sperm, and you'll see that there's a blog. I did a video based on this blog. It looks like a blog, but it's actually based on 3 studies. And it clearly says abstinence should not extend beyond the 2-day mark, as there is no benefit. So you can't have sex just during ovulation, you guys. I was not ovulating at 43 when I got pregnant, when I conceived Tommy naturally. It's important to understand that you got to have sex throughout the month and at least 2 or more times a week, not just during ovulation. And it's got to be amazing sex. So, how does lingerie pull into this? Well, men are visual. So, there are a few things that I pulled up. What men think about lingerie? That's on clovia.com. Why do men like lingerie? That's on trousseauofdallas.com. Then there's National Library of Medicine, PLOS1, and that we're going to discuss that. And men reveal what they really think about the lingerie women wear, and it's actually quite surprising. A Glamour magazine. Now, the National Library of Medicine one, we're going to geek out a little more. I'm going to reverse engineer. I'm going to go straight to the Glamour magazine one because this one I thought was clever. They just quoted some men. So, your underwear, your rules. That's cute. Your underwear, your rules. But it is important. My point through all this is to share with you women that lingerie does matter. So when I'm asking you to spend $25 to $150 on lingerie, now, I'm doing this video and I can tell you from my husband, I've been married for 21 years. If you want to know what keeps a marriage together, you got to buy lingerie. Or do something to entice your husband. At least go on date night once a week. I talk about all of these and so many other videos. We're going to break down the lingerie one. I'm sure I can make this a 5-hour video, but I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. So we're just going to keep it to these 4 little things, and I'll read a few things just in case you want to go through it yourself. So in Glamour magazine, I'll share the links. And let's hear what some people have to say. So Tommy, 32 in London. All right, so everyone likes a bit of lace, but sometimes I think less is more. So without going to the whole thing, black is classy and white is a go-to for everyone. Okay, so there's what Tommy had to say in London. Chris, 32 in Southampton. I thought I loved solely black underwear, but I actually have developed a penchant for white lately. I don't really care because it's coming off. Okay, Tommy, 28, London. You might be surprised to hear this, but I actually don't have a preference. When it comes, if there's a massive label in there, it's a total turn off. Cut out the label. In the ideal world, crotchless pants are the one. Then Jalen, 33 in Leeds. I was always a fan of the thong, but it seems like they've gone out of fashion. Black lace knickers, classy and classy. Classic and classy. Patrick, 30 in London. I'm a believer that you should always wear nice underwear because you never know where the day may take you. For me, it's all about the matching set. You can't go wrong with a nice black number. And then there's a bunch of other things. Why don't we go ahead and Steve, 26, Burnmouth. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just actually like a nice, simple pair of plain white knickers on a lady. For me, it's about having a good tan rather than what the lingerie they have on. Oh, that's a nice little, let me see. This dude, Anton, 28, he said wearing granny pants, then so be it. There's nothing sexier than a woman who is feeling herself. So great. Let me see. Shervin, 34, Berkshire. Let's face it, in a totally definitely respectful way, the more bum I can see, the better. Material is irrelevant. There's also something quite arousing about seeing a girl in your boxers. So that's very interesting. So that's in Glamour magazine, glamourmagazine.co.uk. So that's why a lot of these things are in London. Now, let's see what other links have to say. Let's go to the first one. What men actually think about lingerie. What men think about lingerie. This one is Clovia. Now, I'm just going to go through the topics so you can go through those yourself. You've always wished to have the answer to this question. Haven't you? What is a man thinking when you walk into the bedroom with your brand new lace bra or a sexy chemise? Well, let me ease your curiosity. Contrary to popular opinion, all men are not the same. We men have a very limited thought sphere on matters like this, but that doesn't mean we don't think at all. Let me give you a glimpse. Oh, so a guy wrote this. That's very interesting. All right, so I'm just going to give the topics. Smooth fabrics. Lace is the craze. Let me see. Let's read that part. Lacy stuff gives us a tease we cannot resist. It's a simple yet sexy, shows a lot, but doesn't give it away. Boy, women do like to mess with our minds. What a better way to mess with the brain, with his brains, with a sexy lace bra brief set in a matching shade. Colors are important. We heard from this other guy earlier that he likes matching. And I remember one comedian said, why don't you, I think I forgot who it was, but he said you got to have matching. So colors are important. We read a few things where men love that men love black and white. This one says men love dark colored lingerie. Donning a black or blue or dark purple lingerie set will keep your man's eyes fixed on you. Red might be a little, maybe a cliche for you, but not for him. His eyes are attracted to bright shades too. Try some neon shades or bright cobalt blue or bright hues of pinks. Now, the priority went from dark to light. Um, that's something to consider. Sports bras are magnetic. Women in sports bras are another high. Now, I work at a Lifetime. I will say I do like to study men. And whenever there's this sexy little thing walking around with her sports bra, dudes do watch, dudes do see. So it's interesting that they put that here. Something so functional and sexy demands your complete attention. It also sends a message of how fit and adventurous a girl can be. And yes, that's a damn impressive personality. Padded over non-padded. Huh. So I won't talk too much about that. Bodysuits and layers are awesome. So a guy wrote this, remember that. So when a girl wears a bodysuit, it's really interesting for a guy to look at and comprehend. Layers keep us wanting for more. Less is more. You can never go wrong in impressing your man with a cute little thong. Thongs are one lingerie piece that leaves very little to the imagination. Remember, I'm talking specifically to my fertility people, so I hope you're paying attention to these little details, okay? Because these are things that you might not be interested in or in looking up yourself, women. But I do recommend you do watch this with your partner. It does matter for daddy to be here once a week. You're here, daddy needs to be here 4 times a month. If you're not pregnant yet in 6 to 12 months, and you're looking at me like, why aren't I pregnant yet? I'm going to ask you to go through the protocols. One of the protocols besides the lingerie is daddy needs to be here. So make sure daddy's here. There is something that happens. There's one particular case that I shared with you where a woman got pregnant in 12 months. Daddy showed up at 10 months. And her libido, I perfected her health in 10 months. Her uterus at over 40 years old was not just no longer, it was beautiful. It was that of a 26, 27-year-old. Her doctor in Irvine said, what are you doing differently? Because your uterus looks beautiful. Specifically, it looks like a 26, 27-year-old. Now, I did all these things. Her period was much healthier. However, her libido was at a 2. I could not get her libido to increase. This moment her husband showed up, her libido went from a 2 to a 10 because she felt like he was here as her partner, and it wasn't just her. 1/3 in the National Institutes of Health and in the Mayo Clinic, their research found that 1/3 of the fertility issues is men. We'll use the word infertility. I don't like this word, but we'll use it right now. Infertility issues are 1/3 men, 1/3 women, and 1/3 both. So my husband, who's in IT, will say, it's so archaic that men think the women is the one, that women are the one with the health issues that are causing the fertility issues. I can tell you that same year that I helped that couple get pregnant in 1 year, same age, there was another couple. They were over 40, both of them 4 failed IVFs. The one who got pregnant in 6 months, her AMH was actually a 0.16. The other one was a 0.4, the case I just talked about. So the one I'm about to talk about right now, one fallopian tube, AMH was a 0.16, much lower. It needs to be between a 1 to a 4. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. In this case, both cases, they were both Asian. This case, the one that got pregnant in 6 months, she got pregnant in 6 months. Daddy started at the same time, no health issues. They got pregnant in 6 months because they followed the protocol. They're both Asian. The reason why the 6 months, the couple that got pregnant in 6 months, the mom is a nurse practitioner and the CEO, two different companies, and the dad was a physician, but he's also in research. They were told by me, you got to do it like this. And because they're in medicine, they followed my instructions and they got pregnant in 6 months. Both couples, I asked for 3 years. You guys can do the math. You guys can do your own thing and say, well, we'll just let the woman do the treatments and then we'll see about me joining. Well, the couple who got pregnant 6 months, they followed my protocol, the Qigong, the book that I told them about, and following all the instructions and doing everything I asked them to do, including a lot of sex. But when daddy was here for the 6 months, they got pregnant 6 months, it's because he was coming every month. I don't care. The moment she gets pregnant, I don't care if daddy's here. But it does matter when dad's here because it gets her hot and horny. The 4 H's, healthy, hot, and horny, and happy. So one of the things that makes daddy healthy, for him to be happy, is lingerie. I know I went off on a huge tangent there, but I hope you get the point. So there's a collection of lingerie at Clovia, so obviously they're selling something, but there is some details there that may be very, very healthy. Oh, they're doing doing gardening. So there's that. Let's go to national. We're going to geek out a little bit. National Library of Medicine, PLOS 1. We will go to National Library of Medicine. If you go to the DOI is 10.1371/journal.pone.0230112. So when you go on there, women's use of intimate apparel as a subtle sexual signals in committed heterosexual relationships. So we can geek out on this if you want. Let's see. There's the abstract, and it's a whole body of work. I won't go too much into that. They talk about, there's the intro, the women's sexual signaling. Remember, we're talking about getting pregnant, relationship maintenance and mate value, women's use of intimate apparel, predictions. All right, let's go here. In this study, we hypothesized that women use intimate apparel in relationships as a form of subtle sexual signaling for proceptivity. To test this, we examined women's use of intimate apparel in their current relationships across 3 distinct contexts. All right, let's see. Women who, you really should read this whole article. I'll share this. Women who intend to be sexually active later in the day will report higher sexiness of underwear on that day than women who do not intend to be sexually active. Women who initiated their most recent sexual encounter with their partner will report higher sexiness of underwear for that encounter than women who did not initiate. Number 3, women who report a lower relative mate value than their partners will report higher sexiness of underwear compared to women who report the same or higher relative mate value than their partner across all 3 contexts. Day of taking the survey, most recent sexual encounter with their partner, and ideal sexual encounter with their partner. So there's methods, participants, demographics, use of intimate apparel, mate value discrepancy. There's a whole body of work. I'll let you read all that fun stuff. You can geek out on all that. When I reviewed this, there's discussion. The part I want to jump straight into is conclusions. Okay, so let's see. Little research has examined women's use of intimate apparel, and no studies have addressed its use as a subtle sexual signal in committed romantic relationships. Now, let's go back to the first topic we discussed, which was the value, the market value of lingerie in the market value of lingerie. So we're talking billions of dollars, yet there's very little research as to why we're doing this. There's a little discrepancy there, just something for you to consider. Despite some claims that use of intimate apparel is the result of effective marketing, we have found that women in the study want to wear sexy underclothes to feel desired, to feel aroused, and to prepare for sex with their partners. We have found that mate value has an important, albeit surprising, role in relationships regarding intimate apparel. Okay, so just that one statement, we can see that if us women, let's just assume, I didn't go into details on who is spending the money. Is it mostly men? Is it mostly women buying the lingerie? But it's interesting that we're spending a lot of that, a lot is being purchased. And that women are when we wear it, when us women are wearing it, is because we want to feel sexy, to feel desired, and how we feel about our mate. So it's safe to say that if we didn't like our mates, if we didn't think too much of our mates, then we wouldn't be spending money on wearing things to impress him. Let's see. Overall, a woman's use of intimate apparel is more closely related to her perceptions of her own mate value than her committed relationship. However, she might still use intimate apparel as a form of relationship maintenance. Intimate apparel increases a woman's attractivity, which may function as an underlying signal of availability and receptivity. Although the study failed to establish proceptivity, it is the first to examine women's use of intimate apparel with romantic relationships. And you have to ask, why is Dr. Dolopo requiring me to get lingerie to make a baby? I really want you to think about that. So that's for your, something for you to consider. Now, let us, by the way, this, when you go to PLOS 1, they're, they have, what do you call it? They have a little thing that they share about the integrity of their research. So they really want to make sure that I read it somewhere where they really want to focus on the integrity of their research. So that's on another note. Now, don't worry too much about that. I just thought it was very interesting. Now let's go to what men think about lingerie. Let's see. Oh, we actually went through that. Let's go to this one. Trousseau of Dallas. Now that one was on National Library of Medicine. So, now we're going to go back to market. It's no secret that lingerie boosts a woman's sex appeal and confidence, but why do men seem to love it? There are many different reasons, as there are men, but one thing's for certain. Men are visual creatures, and lingerie remains an effective way to draw their attention. Lingerie is not at all like clothing items you wear every day. It is created with the purpose of flattering your most sensual areas. Sexy lingerie adds intrigue and excitement, attracting attention immediately. Ladies, my job is to help you get pregnant. And if the focus is, okay, it's around day 10, 12 to day 16, we got to have sex. And I just told you I did a video years ago about requiring you to have sex. The sperm starts dying off after 2 days. You can't just have sex during ovulation. You have to have sex throughout the month. Go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com/sex, /sperm, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You got to have sex continually throughout the month. So if you don't want to have boring sex and men are visual, then you got to wear something that's going to entice him. And if you're getting at least one lingerie a month, at least he's seeing something new. You can't wear the same thing over and over and over. So I'm going to go to this one thing, like what turns, let's see, men and scent. What turns, let's see, smells that arouse men. So if you go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com/arouse-men, you'll see that I did a 17 minute video. The study was based on pubmed.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/3470441. Does acupuncture improve sexual dysfunction? A systematic review. Oh, that was a different study. So in this video, I really talk about a different, let's see, where is that? All the different scents that arouse men. Ah, here it is. Effects of odors on penile blood flow. I'm going to go back to the visual thing. So if this one was on American Academy of Neurological and Orthopedic Surgeons, AANOS.org/human-male-sexual-response-2-olfactory-stimuli. And if we just read that men are visual, and in this other video I did, we talked about sensory, the olfactory stimuli, that smell. And this is a medical doctor who wrote this. So odors, sexual response, and something that I wrote was effects of odors on penile blood flow. Each of the 30 odors produce an increase in penile flow. The combined odor of lavender and pumpkin pie had the greatest effect, increasing median penile blood flow by 40%. Second in effectiveness was a combination of black licorice and donut, which increased the median penile blood flow 31.5%. The combined odors of pumpkin pie and donut was third, with a 20% increase. Less stimulating was cranberry, which increased penile blood flow by 2%. None of the odors reduced penile blood flow. Well, why am I bringing this up? In fact, I'm going to send this to DJ Alpha right now because I support him on Twitch, and he quotes me quite a bit. And I told him on the show today that I was going to be doing Swanky or Skanky. And when my patient asked me, where should I go shopping? I said, does not matter to me. I don't care if it's Swanky or Skanky. And when I brought that up to my husband, he said, why not both? So why not both? Do both. Do Swanky and Skanky. Now let's talk about this. Lingerie is, okay, we talked about lingerie. So we talked about olfactory. Now we're talking about visual. So you know what? Lace, lace, lace. We talked about this from a different link, but now we're talking on a different thing. Apparently, men do love lace. Wearing lingerie made of lace will enhance your curves and make you impossible to resist. Women, we're trying to make babies, all right? We're working on making babies. It excites a man just to know that he will be seeing you in that beautiful garment. So remember, we're talking in the billions. Lingerie is in the billions. So if we're looking at investing, invest money in lingerie, because apparently it's not going to be going down. It doesn't look, in my opinion, just looking at what the market value is in lingerie. Why are we talking about houses? Why are we talking about how much our houses would? My house went up from, I bought a nice, cute little fixer-upper in Mission Viejo. It had a lot of work to be done in 2015. It went from $500,000 to now it's worth about $1 million in 9 years. But really, we should be investing in lingerie. So, you know, it's clear 5% market increase every year. Just something to consider. So instead of just putting your money into houses, we should be putting our money into lace, into lingerie. And ladies, you know, how much is your baby worth? Isn't your baby worth at least $25 to $150 a month? So daddies, when your wife is saying, Dr. Dolopo requires that I buy new lingerie, this is the video to consider. Why? Because you are, you know, visual. And usually men don't. Every time I bring that up, and I have a couple that's here, and I say, Daddy, you know, mommy has to buy lingerie. Daddy usually isn't like, oh, no, we can't afford that. Never, never. Since 1999, since I've said that, I've never had a dude say, no, we can't do lingerie. No. Usually men are like, I like this. lingerie and heels, ladies. And if you can't afford it, which probably is not true, wear a towel, greet your husband at the door with a towel and the heels, drop the towel as soon as the door closes. How? Thinking outside the box. Get yourself some nice heels. I don't care how small you are. I don't care how big you are. He's with you. He does not care about he married you. He's with you. He wants a baby with you. And just give him something to play with. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that literally and metaphorically. And I really want you to consider what I'm sharing here. So let's talk more about this. Silk lingerie shows a softer side. A dangerous element is very desirable. Breaking from the norm can be a very freeing experience for you. It's the way these pieces make her feel more control, more confident, more in charge. The bodysuit is an unexpected surprise. When shopping for lingerie, just remember that feeling good and looking good is a cornerstone of seduction. So they're obviously selling lingerie on that particular channel, on that particular page. So I will share this. I hope this gives you enough information, both how much lingerie is increasing in the marketplace, what kind of lingerie men do like. They tend to like the darkers, going, into the lighters and the neon. Every guy that was being interviewed, they tend to like black. You can wear red, white, they like it. If you just want to wear granny panties, that's fine. But if you're not pregnant yet in 6 to 12 months, consider what I'm sharing here. You can find more information, but it's very interesting that one piece in the National Library of Medicine, that it's there. It's not just on these random blogs like Glamour Magazine. In fact, let's do one more search. So research, do men love lingerie? You can go on Reddit. I'm sure there's a lot of information there. There's stuff on Quora. When I went there, I did see that men also like to wear lingerie who are straight men. Glamour. This is in the US. 86% of men say they care what your underwear looks like. This was August 2015. I'm just doing a Google search. In 0.4 seconds, there were 18 million results. Or 18 million people 18 million results. Lingerie men want women to wear. Custom shirt.1. Lingerie, what type do men like the most? Kixies, what do men actually think of lingerie? Most men prefer a woman who is comfortable in her skin, who shows up fully. This is very interesting. Let's go to this. January 19, 2022, Kixies.com. Yay or nay? We researched responses from dozens of men across the globe and gathered their responses to lingerie. In most of responses, we discovered lingerie isn't always about the visual appeal as much as it is about unspoken cues, body language, and emotional response of desire. Here's what they had to say. Basically, there are three types: classy, trashy, and everyday wear. The latter is self-explanatory. For Valentine's Day, perhaps romantic and sensual dictates the mood with a nice lacy bra. Okay, I'm not going to go through all that. Most men like lingerie as they tend to make the woman more feminine. 40 plus minutes into it, we're finally talking about why men like women in lingerie. Men want to see women looking more feminine. I like the feel lingerie on the skin, especially the soft sheer stockings, soft silky panties, and lacy panties and other lingerie underwear. Same is true for fishnet, mesh stockings, and panties. Bras usually make the bust appear fuller and shapely, which surely is attractive. That's Mike in the UK. I'm a minimalist. Thongs or panties that show her best lines, thigh highs, sexy matching top. I dig high-end lingerie, hair and makeup done perfectly. Leo in New York City. Let's see. A woman in a man's borrowed white long sleeve dress shirt and nothing else. This is by Preston in California. Also, men are pretty much wired to snag on the complex curves of the female body. Naked works. To pick lines from a movie, you know how a woman gets a man excited, she shows up. That's it. We're guys, we're easy. That's nice. Full confidence. And any lingerie with stockings and an added black choker are always a pleaser. Teddies, bodysuits, baby dolls, corsets, anything with straps, garters, most prefer it off you, if I'm honest. Jay in Germany. Nothing is as sexy as desire with full on intent. A woman dressed in a teddy or a baby doll nightgown, etc. Is clearly telling you that she has thought about sex with you, that she is planning on having sex with you, and that her desire to do so is plainly evident. Just in case you were wondering who was in charge here, let me put you under no misconception that she is in charge here. Dan in the United States. Probably the most powerful thing, the most empowering thing a man has shared on this particular thing. That's what lingerie does. I like that one the most. That one is at Kixies, KIXIES.com. This gentleman, I believe Dan, basically said that when a woman wears lingerie, she's saying, I'm ready to have sex with you. The ball's in my court. I'm going to dictate when we're going to have sex because I'm wearing the lingerie. And because I'm wearing it, this means you get to have sex tonight. I like that. Let's review that really fast. Nothing is as sexy as desire and with full on intent, a woman dressed in a teddy. She's clearly telling you that she has thought about sex with you, that is, she is planning on having sex with you, and that her desire to do so is plainly evident. Just in case you were wondering, and he put wondering in big caps, who is in charge here, let me put you under no misconception that big caps, she is in charge here. Dan in the United States. Let's see. Gerard in France. Just as a combat suit is worn both to fight and to frighten, the lingerie is worn both to perpetrate a sexual act and to bring the opponent to its highest level of excitement. I have met a number of women who refuse to wear lingerie other than cotton underwear. I have met several women who are wearing suspenders just for fun. We're French. But most of the time, women that I have met who are wearing sophisticated lingerie were doing it just to make mad the simple-minded they considered as a possible partner. Of course, wheeled warriors of eroticism are not fooled, and it is not this kind of love harness that will make us crack, but mainly the look of desire in the eyes of the women we love. Okay, so I don't know if that was interpreted. I don't know if that was an interpretation, but basically, I majored in French, and so I understand what he's saying. You know, the French are known for their sexual prowess, for you know, eroticism, and it's a lot of foreplay just in the wearing. And he starts it off by saying, just as combat suit is both worn to fight and to frighten. You know, basically he's saying, when you're wearing this, it's combat, it's our own combat gear. We're coming out to play. We're saying, hey, just like with the other guy that was being interviewed, the women are in charge here. And especially when it comes to sex, you're basically saying, I'm in charge. I'm wearing this because I want to, and I want to please you, but I get to put it on and I get to dictate how this is going to go. So you can interpret that how you want to. I just thought this was a very interesting thing that Gerard and France said. Each culture has its own turn-ons. For example, in Saudi Arabia, even a glimpse of a toe or a body part can be a turn-on. So you get turned on by what you can't see on a daily basis. Singhal in India. Steve in the United says is, I like skin and actively dislike lingerie. My only interest in it is getting it off as fast as possible. Very interesting. Now, right above that statement, there's a picture in Kitsies of this woman who is so cute. She is on the rounder side. She is at least 50 or more pounds, if not probably 100 or so pounds overweight. She looks sexy. She looks darling, and she looks teasing, and she looks pleasing. And I just love it. go to kixies.com/blogs/kixies blog what do men actually think of lingerie, and scroll down about halfway in, a little past halfway, and you'll see this beautiful redhead, a little on the rounder side, just giving the most seductive look, smiling, laughing. We know what she's up to. I love it. So there's a lot more stuff that you can read there. Before we go, let's look up, do heels turn men on? I'll leave that for another video. Yes, some studies have shown that men find women in high heels more attractive. In fact, one study found that men are willing to help hit on and chase after women in heels. Other studies have shown that high heels are associated with greater sexiness, overall physical attractiveness, breast attractiveness, beauty, attractiveness to other women, to other men, and willingness for a date. Science proves it. Let's see. Men really do find high heels sexier. In Time Magazine, November 19, 2014. Enrico Queenie, that's another magazine, October 17, 2022. 5 reasons high heels make women look more attractive. And actually, let's go to that really fast. Raising the rear, gorgeous gait, longer legs, sex appeal, going with glamour. So that's on ENRICOCUINI.com, and it's a blog. And let's see, according to the study's author, most men find women in heels or stilettos more attractive and sexier than those wearing flats or shoes, as they highlight women's curves, arouse sexual appeal in men as well, and boost women's confidence. Plus, wearing heels gives added height if you are height conscious. So that's in medium.com. And so Time Magazine, we're going to break that down in a different video. But science proves high heels do have power over men. That's on CNBC, 2014. So here's a little trick that I have, ladies. I keep heels in my car. Just keep heels in the car. You just never know. If you're wearing jeans, you can leave the house in flats. I have slippers in the car as well. And, I have cute little Crocs that are open-toed, that look furry. They look very glamoury. So when my feet are done, I just take off the shoes and I wear those little Crocs. They're cute. They have shoes also. You can find them at the airport and probably at some luggage stores, where when your feet are just done, these cute little flats, they can just fit in your purse. You can wear them. I advise that to someone who is going to a wedding. You're going to dance, and then your feet are just going to get tired. Your legs are going to get tired. So, there's a reason that I recommend lingerie in heels. And I call this swanky or skanky. And my husband said, do both, swanky and skanky. Look, you chose to marry this guy. He married you. Make yourself sexy. You're seeing me in scrubs. I'm wearing my scrubs, and I like to be comfortable. But he's the one person in this whole world where you get to be sexy for. You get to make a baby with this guy. He gets to make a baby with you. You get to be together, and you get to show all of you, every part of you, your breasts, your butt, your vagina, your feet, every part of you. He gets all of you. And when my husband looked at my protocol, because my fertility protocol is so long, and he said, do people know that why your the whole purpose of this, and the whole purpose is to make you guys fall in love again. And if you guys have been together for 3-5+ years and you've been trying to conceive, I hate that term. It can get, sex can get very boring. It can get very mundane, and it can, become a chore. And I've shared in other videos that men do come here crying because they feel like a tool, that it's ovulation time and now it's time for you to, you know, ejaculate in her. And he is just someone to help her get pregnant. In my career, 25 years as a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, a licensed acupuncturist, I had at least 3 women who decided within the first 10 treatments to divorce their husbands in this pursuit of getting pregnant. So the game of fertility, the world of fertility, is very, it can be very testy. And I remember sharing that with my husband. He said, "What are you telling these women? You know, I'm not trying to condone divorce here. I'm just trying to get women to be more honest with themselves." I didn't know that they were going to decide to divorce their husbands, but maybe it made them think. I didn't ask questions that would provoke them to question their husbands. But if you're going to make a baby, it really would be nice to be with someone who you love and loves you. And, you know, unless it's decided that it's a polyamorous relationship, it's nice when it is a monogamous relationship, unless you made other plans. But being on the same page 95% of the time in raising kids does matter. Our kids are, she's 19, 13, and 6, and my daughter will be 20 in a few weeks. They're apart in age. They're quite a few years apart in age, but they're very close emotionally. They love each other. We call each other every day. My daughter's away for college. They're very, very close. And that, you have to cultivate those relationships. You have to cultivate your unit. But most importantly, you need to cultivate that relationship between husband and wife. Otherwise, you will find yourself in a situation where now you don't want to be with each other anymore. I fill out this paper every year in school. Do the parents both live in the house with the child? Are the parents together? Are they married? And one thing that will keep you guys married is sex, and great sex and happy sex. And so there's a reason for all these little funny, I'm doing this video because I hate making my video and then it somehow disappeared on my computer. But at least with this being live, I know that it's going to be saved on YouTube. And I really do hope that the information that I shared is going to, for those of you who want to have a baby, is going to be very, very helpful. So then you will spend the money and the time to go shopping for yourself, to take care of yourself, so that you can cultivate your relationship with your spouse. All right, check me out, elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com. Go to the fertility, pregnancy, prepare for birth section, and I hope you learned a lot from this video. Take care.